The silent threat. The grand hall of the Solarian Collective gleamed with otherworldly splendor, its crystalline walls capturing and refracting light from 1,000 distant stars. Around the massive circular table, representatives from the 12 most advanced civilizations in the Milky Way gathered for their centennial assessment meeting. These were beings whose ancestors had mastered faster-than-light travel when humans were still learning to control fire. High Chancellor Vorax, a tall, luminescent being with 6 appendages and skin that shimmered with bioluminescent patterns, called the meeting to order. The discussion topic: potential species for advancement into the collective. We now turn to System Sol 3. Designation Earth. Vorax's voice resonated through the chamber. The evaluation team has submitted their report on the dominant species. A 3-dimensional hologram appeared above the center of the table, displaying a slowly rotating Earth alongside images of human cities, transportation systems, and communication networks. Ambassador Threll, a reptilian being with scales that shifted colors with his mood, gave a dismissive wave. Primitive. They've barely escaped their own gravity well. Their most advanced propulsion systems can hardly reach their neighboring planet. Their weaponry is equally unimpressive, added General Kazura, a hulking warrior whose silicon-based body looked more like living armor than flesh. Nuclear fission. We abandoned such crude techniques millennia ago. The scientific representative, Dr. Eam, a being composed primarily of liquid suspended in a containment field, pulsed thoughtfully. Their communications technology is improving at an exponential rate, however, and their adaptability metrics are unusual. Meaning? Vorax inquired. They solve problems differently than most species we've encountered. Less methodical, more intuitive. Their solutions are often inefficient, but occasionally brilliant. The chamber filled with amused sounds from various beings, the equivalent of laughter. Brilliant primitives. Threll's scales turned a mocking shade of orange. An interesting contradiction. High Chancellor Vorax studied the hologram. The real question is their world's resources. The evaluation shows high concentrations of rare minerals and biological diversity. Their planet sits on a significant pocket of dimensional instability, Dr. Eam noted. It could be valuable for quantum research. General Kazura straightened. Then the path is clear. Standard resource acquisition protocol. They need not even know we're there until it's too late. Vorax's skin pulsed with agreement. The humans will barely notice our extraction teams. By the time they realize what's happening, we'll have what we need and be gone. The vote was unanimous. Earth was categorized as a Class 3 planet, technologically immature but resource-rich. The acquisition was authorized to begin immediately. None of the collective members bothered to consider that they might be making a grave miscalculation. Captain Maya Chen stood at the observation window of the International Space Defense Initiative's underground facility, watching her team work. At 35, she had already distinguished herself as one of Earth's most innovative military strategists, which was why she'd been handpicked to lead this obscure project. "Captain, you need to see this," called Lieutenant James Wilson, his fingers flying across a holographic interface. The quantum fluctuation detector picked up something unusual in lunar orbit. Maya moved quickly to his station. The ISDI facility, hidden beneath the New Zealand mountains, housed Earth's most advanced monitoring systems, many of which weren't officially acknowledged to exist. "Show me," she ordered. Wilson brought up a visual representation of quantum disturbances around the moon. These patterns appeared 12 hours ago. They don't match any known natural phenomenon. Dr. Vanessa Okafor, the team's chief scientist, joined them. "It's like something's bending space-time in ways we've only theorized about." Her Nigerian accent became more pronounced when she was excited. "Look at these energy signatures. They're concentrated, directional." Maya studied the data, her analytical mind processing the implications. Could it be some kind of propulsion system? "If it is, it's nothing human-made," Vanessa replied. "We're talking about technology that manipulates fundamental forces we're only beginning to understand." Is it Russian? Chinese? Maya asked, though she already suspected the answer. Wilson shook his head. We've already checked with our contacts. Nobody on Earth is claiming this or even seems aware of it. Maya's expression hardened. She'd been recruited to ISDI because she could think outside conventional military doctrine. The initiative had been formed after multiple space agencies detected anomalous signals that couldn't be explained, signals that suggested Earth was being observed. Most government officials had dismissed the evidence as instrumental errors or natural phenomena. But a small coalition of nations had quietly funded ISDI as a precaution. Track everything, Maya ordered. And get me General Hartman. I think it's time to activate Project Prometheus. 3 days later, in a secure conference room 40 meters underground, Maya presented her findings to representatives from 12 countries. The evidence is conclusive, she stated, her voice steady despite the gravity of her words. We are detecting technology that is not from Earth, and it appears to be establishing positions around strategic resource locations. General Hartman, the American liaison, leaned forward. You're telling us we have confirmed extraterrestrial contact, and they're positioning around our mineral deposits. Yes, sir, Maya replied. Based on their energy signatures, they're focusing on rare earth elements, uranium deposits, and, interestingly, areas with high biological diversity. They're studying us, asked the British representative. Dr. Okafor shook her head. The pattern suggests resource evaluation, not anthropological study. They're cataloging what's valuable, not who we are. The room fell silent as the implications sank in. Project Prometheus, Maya continued, bringing up new schematics on the display. As you know, we've been developing adaptive defense systems based on the theoretical possibility of encountering advanced extraterrestrial technology. The display showed what appeared to be conventional weapon systems, missiles, satellites, and ground-based installations, but with highly unconventional internal components. The core principle of Prometheus is neural adaptive technology, Maya explained. Traditional military doctrine would be useless against a civilization potentially thousands of years more advanced than ours. Instead, we've created systems that learn and evolve during combat, changing tactics faster than any human commander could. You want to deploy experimental AI weapons against an unknown alien force. The Chinese representative's voice held skepticism. Not AI in the traditional sense, Dr. Okafor clarified. These systems use quantum computing linked to human neural networks. They think like us, but at exponentially faster speeds. They're extensions of human creativity, not replacements for it. Maya continued, what makes humans unique isn't our technology. It's our adaptability, our creativity under pressure. Prometheus weaponizes that quality. General Hartman studied the schematics. How quickly can it be deployed? Elements of the system are already in place, Maya replied. We've integrated components into existing satellite networks and defense installations. We just need authorization to activate. The Japanese representative spoke up. Even if we activate this system, our conventional weapons would surely be ineffective against visitors capable of interstellar travel. Maya smiled slightly. That's assuming they expect us to fight back at all. Our greatest advantage might be that they don't consider us a threat. Sometimes, the most dangerous opponent is the one you've underestimated. After 4 hours of debate, the Council voted. Project Prometheus was given preliminary activation authorization, with full combat protocols ready to engage if alien hostility was confirmed. As the meeting adjourned, General Hartman pulled Maya aside. I hope you're wrong about all this, Captain. Maya nodded. So do I, sir. But if I'm right, we may be facing the greatest challenge in human history. The confirmation came sooner than anyone expected. 2 weeks after the Council meeting, ISDI detected a quantum disturbance descending through Earth's atmosphere toward the Amazon basin. Within hours, similar disturbances appeared over the Congo, Siberia, and northern Canada. In the ISDI command center, Maya watched as the Prometheus system tracked the incursions. "They're not even trying to hide anymore," she observed. "They must think we can't detect them. Or they don't care if we can," Wilson added grimly. Dr. Okafor was studying the energy readings. "These signatures suggest they're deploying some kind of extraction technology. Based on the positioning, they're targeting biodiversity hotspots." Maya made her decision. "Activate Prometheus defensive protocols. Stage 1 only. Observation and limited interaction." Throughout Earth's orbit, specially modified satellites subtly shifted position. Ground-based quantum sensors focused their attention. And in a dozen secure facilities around the world, human operators connected to neural interfaces, their minds joining the Prometheus network. The system was designed to start with minimal intervention, prodding the aliens' technology while remaining mostly invisible. It would gather data, learn, and adapt before any direct confrontation. The first contact was made over the Amazon. A Prometheus-enhanced drone, virtually undetectable to conventional sensors, approached one of the alien craft. The alien vessel resembled a translucent sphere, its surface rippling like water despite being solid. It hovered above the rainforest canopy, extending filaments down into the vegetation. The drone captured detailed readings of the alien technology, feeding the data back to Prometheus. Within seconds, the system had begun analyzing the craft's energy patterns, material composition, and operational methods. In the command center, Maya watched the data pour in. "They're extracting biological samples," she noted, "focusing on areas with the highest genetic diversity." "Massive data gathering operation," Wilson confirmed. "They're taking small samples from thousands of species." Dr. Okafor looked troubled. "This is just the beginning. These are scout ships, not their main extraction fleet." Maya nodded grimly. "Time to move to stage 2. Let's see how they respond to being noticed." The Prometheus drone near the Amazon vessel activated a specialized emitter, not a weapon, but a device designed to interfere subtly with the alien craft's quantum field. The effect was immediate. The alien vessel's extraction filaments retracted. Its surface rippled more rapidly, suggesting some kind of alarm response. A pulse of energy swept outward, likely a scanning mechanism. "They've detected the drone," Wilson reported. "Now they know we know," Maya said quietly. "Let's see what they do next." The alien craft ascended rapidly, its energy signature changing. The other ships around the world showed similar reactions, all retreating to higher altitudes. For 3 days, there was no further activity. Then, without warning, a much larger quantum disturbance appeared in high Earth orbit. "That's not a scout ship," Dr. Okafor said, studying the readings. "The energy output is at least 50 times greater." Maya felt a chill run down her spine. "They're escalating. They know we detected them, and they're responding with a show of force." The massive alien vessel began deploying smaller craft, dozens of them, each larger than the original scout ships. They formed a precise geometric pattern in orbit, creating what appeared to be a network. "They're establishing a full extraction grid," Dr. Okafor explained. "This is consistent with systematic resource harvesting operations." General Hartman, who had flown in from Washington upon hearing of the escalation, stood beside Maya. "What are our options, Captain?" Maya studied the tactical display. "They still don't seem to consider us a military threat. These aren't warships. They're industrial vessels. Heavily shielded, certainly, but their purpose is extraction, not combat." "That could work to our advantage," Wilson suggested. "Exactly," Maya nodded. "Prometheus has been analyzing their technology for days now. It's found potential vulnerabilities in their quantum field generators. We can't match their technology, but we might be able to disrupt it." "You want to attack them?" Hartman asked, surprised. "Not attack. Demonstrate," Maya clarified. "Show them we're not as primitive as they think. Force them to acknowledge us." After a tense debate among the council representatives, authorization was given. Maya gave the order to activate Prometheus's full defensive capabilities. Around the world, Specialized installations powered up. In orbit, stealth satellites activated previously dormant systems, and connected to it all, human operators guided the system's adaptive responses. The confrontation was brief but decisive. Prometheus targeted 3 of the smaller alien vessels with precisely calibrated quantum disruption pulses. The effect exceeded even Maya's expectations. The alien craft's energy fields destabilized, causing them to withdraw immediately to the safety of the larger vessel. In the command center, a cheer went up as they watched the alien fleet's formation break. "They're pulling back," Wilson announced triumphantly. But Maya's expression remained serious. "This isn't a victory. It's just the beginning." On the main display, the massive alien vessel was already changing configuration, its energy signature intensifying. "They've reassessed the threat level," Dr. Okafor said quietly. "They no longer see us as primitives to be ignored." Maya nodded grimly. "Now they see us as warriors to be reckoned with." The first real battle for Earth was about to begin. The proving ground. High Chancellor Vorax stared at the transmission with disbelief rippling across his luminescent skin. The extraction commander's report was unprecedented in the collective's 10,000-year history of resource acquisition. "Explain again," Vorax demanded, his voice uncharacteristically harsh. "How did a pre-FTL civilization disable 3 of our extraction vessels?" The commander's holographic form flickered slightly. "The humans employed a targeted quantum disruption field that temporarily destabilized our containment matrices. The technology is crude, but unexpectedly effective." Ambassador Thrall's scales had shifted to a dark blue of concern. "Impossible. Their technological development is at least 8 centuries away from such capabilities." "And yet," General Kazura rumbled, "they've managed it." The silicon-based warrior's crystalline eyes narrowed. "This changes the strategic assessment." Dr. Eam pulsed rapidly, the liquid that formed their body swirling in excitement. "I warned about their adaptability metrics. They've somehow identified our quantum field vulnerabilities after minimal exposure to our technology." Vorax's appendages twitched in irritation. This was supposed to be a standard extraction operation. No complications, no resistance. Now we've suffered the first technological countermeasure from a primitive species in collective history. The council chamber fell silent. Each member understood the implications. The collective's dominance relied not just on superior technology, but on the psychological certainty of that superiority. If humans could challenge that certainty, other species might follow. General Kazura finally broke the silence. "The solution is simple. We escalate to a Class 2 operation. Bring in the military extraction fleet and establish dominance before extracting resources. That would require a formal authorization," Thrall objected. "Class 2 operations are reserved for moderately advanced civilizations." "Clearly," Kazura countered, "we underestimated them. Their classification was in error." Dr. Eam pulsed thoughtfully. "I'm curious about their quantum technology. It suggests they may be more attuned to the dimensional instabilities around their planet than we realized." Vorax made his decision. Reclassify Earth as a Class 2 planet. Deploy the military extraction fleet. Make it clear to these humans that their resistance, while noted, is ultimately futile. As the council members filed out, Dr. Eam lingered. "High Chancellor, if I may. There's something unusual about how quickly they adapted to our technology. It might be prudent to study them further before confrontation." Vorax dismissed the concern with a wave of his upper appendages. "They caught us by surprise once. It won't happen again. The military extraction fleet will ensure compliance." As the liquid scientist departed, Vorax gazed at the holographic image of Earth rotating slowly before him. A primitive world with unexpectedly sharp teeth. But the collective had subjugated hundreds of worlds more advanced than this one. What possible threat could these humans pose to the most powerful civilization in the galaxy? Captain Maya Chen hadn't slept in 36 hours. The initial confrontation with the alien vessels had been successful beyond expectations, but she knew it was only the opening move in a much longer game. They're coming back, she told the assembled leaders in ISDI's main conference room. And next time, they won't underestimate us. On the main display, Dr. Okafor highlighted the quantum disturbance readings from the edge of the solar system. We're detecting massive energy signatures approaching. Based on our analysis, these are much more powerful vessels, likely military rather than industrial. General Hartman frowned. How long do we have? At their current speed, 3 weeks, Dr. Okafor replied. They appear to be traveling just below light speed using some form of space warping technology. 3 weeks to prepare for an invasion by a vastly superior technological force, Maya summarized. We need to expand Prometheus immediately, and we need more minds connected to the system. The Chinese representative leaned forward. You want more neural interfaces. The training takes months. Not if we recruit the right people, Maya replied. We need creative thinkers, people who solve problems differently. Quantum physicists, yes, but also game designers, strategy experts, even artists. The room erupted in objections. Maya let them argue for a moment before continuing. The Prometheus system works because it's an extension of human creativity, not a replacement for it. Our advantage isn't technology, it's how we think. These aliens have technology centuries beyond ours, but they're predictable, methodical. They don't expect us to be a threat, which means they don't have contingency plans for human ingenuity. Slowly, the objections subsided. Who do you have in mind? General Hartman asked. Maya brought up a series of profiles on the display. Dr. Aaron Reed, quantum physicist. He's been developing theoretical models of multidimensional space that align surprisingly well with what we've observed in the alien technology. Dr. Okafor nodded approvingly. His work on quantum entanglement across dimensional boundaries is brilliant, if unorthodox. Next, Maya continued, Sophia Kagawa, video game designer specializing in strategy games. Her algorithms for unpredictable AI opponents have won multiple awards. Wilson raised an eyebrow. A game designer against an alien invasion. Her specialty is creating systems that adapt to player strategies and develop unexpected counters, Maya explained. Exactly what we need Prometheus to do. She continued through the list. A chess grandmaster, a guerrilla warfare specialist, an abstract artist known for multidimensional thinking, and a dozen others with unique cognitive approaches. We need them all connected to Prometheus, Maya concluded. Different perspectives, different ways of approaching problems. That's our advantage. After hours of debate, the council approved Maya's plan. Within days, the recruits began arriving at ISDI facilities around the world. Dr. Aaron Reed was nothing like Maya had expected. The quantum physicist was in his early 40s, with wild gray-streaked hair and clothes that looked like he'd slept in them for days, which, according to his colleagues, he often did. So you've got actual alien quantum technology to play with? He asked, eyes gleaming with excitement as Maya led him through the secure facility. Do you have any idea how many physics departments would kill for that kind of data? Focus, Doctor, Maya reminded him. We're not studying them for scientific curiosity. We're trying to defend against them. Reed waved dismissively. Same thing, really. Understanding is power. And what I'm seeing in these readings. He paused at a display showing the energy patterns from the alien vessels. It's fascinating. They're using quantum fields in ways I've only theorized about. But there are inefficiencies. Inefficiencies? Maya asked sharply. What kind? Their approach is elegant but rigid, Reed explained, gesturing at the patterns, like they developed this technology along a single evolutionary path and never explored alternatives. It's advanced, certainly, but it's missing imagination. Maya felt a surge of hope. Can you exploit those inefficiencies? Reed grinned. Captain, that's what I do best. Breaking perfect systems by thinking sideways. Throughout the facility and at installations worldwide, similar scenes played out as the new recruits were integrated into Project Prometheus. Each brought unique insights, different ways of approaching the same problem. Sofia Kagawa, the game designer, immediately identified patterns in the alien formations that suggested programmed responses rather than adaptive thinking. "They're running scripts," she explained. "Advanced ones, but still predictable if you can identify the triggers." The chess grandmaster noted strategic vulnerabilities in their deployment patterns. The guerrilla warfare specialist suggested asymmetric approaches that would confuse conventional military doctrine. As each new mind connected to the Prometheus neural network, the system grew not just more powerful, but more unpredictable, more human in its thinking, yet faster than any human could process information. Maya watched the system evolve with a mixture of hope and trepidation. They were creating something unprecedented, a defense network that thought like humanity's best minds combined, operating at quantum speeds. "Will it be enough?" Wilson asked quietly, standing beside her as they watched the neural integration team work. "It has to be," Maya replied, "because Plan B is surrendering Earth's resources to aliens who see us as primitives." 2 weeks later, humanity got its first look at the approaching alien fleet. The Prometheus-enhanced deep space telescopes captured images of massive vessels, each larger than Earth's largest cities. They moved in perfect formation, their hulls rippling with the same strange quasi-liquid appearance as the smaller craft, but on a vastly larger scale. In the ISDI command center, the mood was tense but focused. 27 capital ships, Wilson reported, plus at least 100 smaller vessels. They'll reach lunar orbit in 6 days. Maya studied the tactical display. "Have they made any attempts to communicate?" "Nothing we've detected," Dr. Okafor replied. "They seem to operate on the assumption that communication with us is unnecessary." Dr. Reed, who had proven surprisingly adaptable to military protocols, pointed to energy readings from the lead vessels. "They're preparing some kind of scanning suite, probably mapping our defenses, or what they think are our defenses." Maya nodded. "Then it's time to show them something unexpected. Activate the asteroid belt defense grid." Throughout the asteroid belt between Mars and Jupiter, hundreds of seemingly ordinary space rocks came to life. Concealed within them were Prometheus nodes, specialized quantum devices that could generate targeted disruption fields. The technology was based on what they'd learned from the first encounter, refined and enhanced by the expanded Prometheus network. As the alien fleet approached Mars orbit, the Prometheus asteroid grid activated. Rather than directly attacking the alien vessels, the system created a complex pattern of quantum disruptions that rippled through space, a kind of dimensional turbulence that humans couldn't even perceive, but that would severely impact the aliens' quantum-based propulsion. The effect was immediate. The perfect formation of alien ships faltered. Several smaller vessels drifted out of alignment, their propulsion systems temporarily compromised. In the command center, a cheer went up. "It's working," Wilson exclaimed. "They didn't expect defense systems this far out." Dr. Reed studied the readings intently. "They're adapting quickly, though, shifting their quantum fields to compensate." Maya wasn't surprised. That was expected. This is just the opening move. The alien fleet regrouped and continued its approach, now moving more cautiously. As they passed through the asteroid belt, Prometheus initiated its second phase. Select asteroids, equipped with conventional propulsion systems, began subtle course changes, not enough to be obvious, but creating a gradually closing net around the alien formation. "They're not detecting the asteroid movements," Dr. Okafor noted. "They're focused on scanning for active energy signatures, not physical trajectory changes." Maya nodded in satisfaction. Classic technological blind spot. They're looking for threats that match their understanding of advanced technology. Over the next 3 days, the chess match continued. The alien fleet deployed scanner probes toward Earth, which Prometheus allowed to pass unhindered. After subtly altering what they could detect, the aliens would see Earth's conventional military capabilities, but missed the true extent of the Prometheus network. The alien commander, growing more cautious after the initial disruption, divided the fleet into 3 battle groups, one approaching from each side of the planet and one holding position near the moon. Classic envelopment strategy, noted the military strategist connected to Prometheus. But it spreads their forces thinner. Maya saw the opportunity. They're positioning for a standard overwhelming force approach. They still think quantity of firepower is what matters. As the alien fleet reached lunar orbit, they finally transmitted a message. A simple series of mathematical equations followed by images showing their ships extracting Earth's resources, with humans standing by passively. Charming, General Hartman muttered as they reviewed the transmission. Not even a pretense of diplomacy. They don't think they need it, Maya replied. In their minds, this is just a formality, showing the primitives what's going to happen so we don't get in the way. Dr. Reed had been unusually quiet, studying the alien formations and energy readings. There's something we're missing, he finally said. The way they've positioned their ships, it's too exposed unless. His eyes widened in sudden realization. Unless what? Maya pressed. Unless they're about to create a unified quantum field. Reed exclaimed, the ships aren't just positioned for tactical advantage. They're nodes in a larger quantum network. As if confirming his analysis, the alien vessels began to pulse in synchronized patterns. Energy readings spiked across all monitoring systems. They're creating a quantum envelope around the entire planet, Dr. Okafor reported, her voice tense. Some kind of containment field. Maya realized what was happening. They're not planning to fight us ship by ship. They're going to lock down the whole planet with a quantum barrier and then extract resources at their leisure. The situation had just become drastically more serious. If the aliens established their quantum envelope, Prometheus would be cut off from its orbital components, and Earth would be effectively imprisoned. Dr. Eam, whose liquid body was swirling rapidly in scientific excitement despite the crisis, offered an observation. They haven't copied it exactly. They've created a crude but effective countermeasure based on their understanding of the fundamental principles. It's innovative. Innovative. Vorax spat the word as if it were distasteful. They are primitives. They should be cowering in fear, not disrupting military-grade quantum fields. Ambassador Threll, whose scales had turned an anxious purple, spoke cautiously. Perhaps we should consider diplomatic. No, Vorax cut him off. The collective does not negotiate with pre-ascension species. It sets a dangerous precedent. He turned back to the fleet commander's hologram. You have 27 capital ships against a single planet that hasn't even unified its own governments. End this resistance now. Deploy the dimensional anchor. Even General Kazra looked surprised. High Chancellor, all Prometheus units, execute Operation Scattered Thunder, Maya ordered. Across Earth orbit and throughout the asteroid belt, hundreds of Prometheus nodes activated simultaneously. The carefully positioned asteroids, which had been gradually maneuvering into position, suddenly accelerated, not toward the alien ships, but into precisely calculated positions that disrupted the forming quantum envelope. At the same time, Prometheus launched its most sophisticated attack yet, not targeting the alien vessels directly, but creating counter-resonance patterns in the quantum fields between them, turning their own network against itself. The effect was spectacular. The forming quantum envelope collapsed in a cascade of energy discharges. Several of the smaller alien vessels spun out of formation, their propulsion systems temporarily offline. In the command center, the neural interface operators strained with the effort of guiding such a complex operation. The Prometheus system was pushing its capabilities to the limit, processing quantum interactions faster than any conventional computer could manage. The envelope has collapsed, Dr. Okafor reported triumphantly. Their synchronized network is destabilizing. The alien fleet's perfect formation had shattered. The smaller vessels scrambled to regroup around the capital ships, which were already adjusting their quantum fields to compensate. They're surprised, Maya observed, watching the chaotic movements of the alien ships. This wasn't in their playbook. Dr. Reed nodded excitedly. Of course it wasn't. They've never encountered a species that could counter-manipulate quantum fields like this. We're using their own technology against them, but in ways they never imagined. The alien fleet was regrouping rapidly, however. Despite the initial confusion, their technological superiority remained overwhelming. They're preparing another approach, Wilson warned. Energy signatures are building again. Maya checked the Prometheus system status. The neural network was still functioning at peak efficiency, but sustaining such complex operations was taxing both the human operators and the quantum hardware. "We've surprised them twice now," she said quietly, "but they learned quickly. The next round will be harder." As if responding to her words, the alien fleet began a new formation, more complex, less predictable. The capital ships moved to the center, with smaller vessels creating a defensive perimeter. "They're adapting their tactics," noted the military strategist, "moving from industrial extraction protocols to actual combat formations." Maya felt a grim satisfaction. "Good. That means they're no longer seeing us as primitives to be ignored. Now they're seeing us as warriors to be respected." The alien fleet had reached Earth orbit. The real battle was about to begin. And despite the initial successes, humanity remained vastly outmatched in terms of raw technology and firepower. But as Maya looked around at the diverse team of minds working through the Prometheus system, the physicist thinking in quantum possibilities, the game designer analyzing pattern vulnerabilities, the artist visualizing multi-dimensional approaches, she felt a surge of determination. The aliens had technology refined over thousands of years, but humans had something the aliens had never learned to value: the unpredictable brilliance that comes from diverse minds working together, each seeing the same problem through different lenses. The galaxy had made a grave mistake in underestimating Earth, and now, as the massive alien fleet positioned itself for a decisive strike, that mistake was about to become painfully clear. Changing the galaxy. High Chancellor Vorax was no longer amused. The holographic reports from the military extraction fleet commander showed a situation unprecedented in the collective's history. "Explain," he demanded, his luminescence pulsing with barely controlled anger. "How can a pre-FTL civilization be disrupting our quantum envelope technology?" The fleet commander's hologram flickered nervously. "The humans are unpredictable, High Chancellor. They've somehow replicated aspects of our quantum field technology and are using it in ways we never anticipated." General Kazra's crystalline form vibrated with fury. "Impossible. Our technology is the culmination of 8,000 years of development. They cannot simply copy it after a few weeks of exposure."